I'm DJ Sibian. At the beginning of 2016, I was working on a music series called Glyph Riffs, which was one song for every letter of the alphabet. There wasn't a really strong reason for using the alphabet other than I just wanted to have some sort of goal rather than just going on forever, just something to have a series. My frustrations when I was working on the Glyph Riff series was with the speed of it. I had thought I could maybe finish the series in a year by working on a song every 2 weeks, as well as have a video and the graphics for it. But sometimes these songs would stretch out for a while, development-wise, in some form or another. And this frustrated me because I felt I wouldn't be able to maintain an audience or keep in touch. So I decided I wanted to try something new, and I came upon the idea of something called Made Some Noise. Hashtag Made Some Noise. Basically, instead of the phrase make some noise, I could say, hey, today I made some noise. I wanted to see how quickly I could automate, well, maybe not automate, but how quickly I could run through the process of making some sort of musical idea. Plus, I wanted to keep all of the processes, music, art, video, on a mobile device and not rely on a laptop at all. So as I started the project, I started to muddle through various apps in all forms, and I found that I actually could keep everything mobile. There were certain apps that I was using audio-wise, most especially figure apps like Trick Track and Oxy, which was an amazing app and still continues to be. They all continue to be amazing apps. And I found apps that I was relying on for artwork, especially Fonto, which is a really good app for placing text into pictures. Video, I started out with Pinnacle's app as well as Pixelmator for creating the various slides that I would incorporate into the video. But as I progressed, I moved on to CuteCut Pro, which sped up the process just a little bit. One great thing about creating the art was it felt very spontaneous. I would find myself taking pictures of some sort of texture, a sidewalk, or some sort of scene, a bench that really looked cool to me. And I ran across quite a few artistic apps that really helped me create very unique pictures from very mundane objects and scenes and textures. I found that part very exciting. I also found it very exciting to be able to keep the whole process mobile. So what did I learn? Well, I did find out it was indeed quicker, although I was sacrificing not creating an entire song, just a musical idea. This was especially the case with Figure, as I was creating just 8 measures at the most. I didn't have time to create a whole song. Right now, that wasn't the point, but looking back on it, it would have been nice to be able to have a process that would let me flesh out an entire song in that short a time. I also found myself during some days when I was working more than not, I found myself owing days. I didn't quite get a track out that day, and so I would make up for it. And nearing the end of the time, I found myself owing 3 or 4 days in advance and finding myself at a point where I would just knock out 4 or 5 pieces. Part of that was kind of exciting. I was able to create 4 different musical ideas, but it kind of was not in the spirit of the project I had planned. One thing I found that I relied a lot on Figure, mainly because I didn't have to post a video with Figure. Figure is probably one of the only apps that has its own musical hosting service, Alihupa. Oxy had music hosting for a little while, but they had shortly abandoned that. And I don't mind the trade-off because they've actually added a lot of very cool features that make it a very cool app for creating music. Figure has Alihupa, which is basically like Instagram, but for music. People can post their ideas, other people can vote on it and make comments. Which leads me to one thing I've learned. Because I was spending so much time making music and creating content, I really didn't have time to interact with anybody else. I've gotten a few likes from people, mostly from the apps that I follow or that I give out credit to in my Facebook and my Twitter posts. Even though I was creating content on a very regular basis, I didn't really make a connection with other music creators, just the people whose apps I was using to create. And that is what struck me. It isn't what I was hoping for. I found myself looking at other music creators, mobile music creators, especially people like Jakob Hack, someone whose videos I watch regularly, people like Doug from the Sound Test Room, and they are able to reach more people. And I think part of it is that they are able to interact with their audience more. And I didn't have time for that. All I was doing was creating content. I think I found a point where I was actually swinging too much a certain way. So I think for the future, and I think this is one of the reasons why I decided to end Made Some Noise after 365 pieces, is I want to be able to find ways to be able to interact with other music creators more. I think that just means getting involved in what other people are doing, commenting, just giving a like, saying, hey, I like what you're doing, and maybe taking a step back and being a little more elaborate in the type of music that I'm making. Just banging out a piece on one app probably isn't the best way to go, as innovative as a lot of these apps are. I actually believe I'm going to go back because I want to finish Glyph Riffs. I've had an idea for Glyph Riff I for the longest time. I want to develop it and keep it flowing. So anyway, these are my thoughts. If you have any ideas and want to interact with me, leave any comments, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. This is DJ Sibian. Hope you have a good year, and I hope you're making some noise.